Hey guys, my name is Mike Siciliano and you're watching Self Boss Marketing Tips. Today's topic is a bit different than our conventional topics. We won't be going over a marketing strategy today. I had a meeting with a close friend of mine yesterday and it brought up a few ideas in my head and I wanted to get them out. So hopefully you find some use out of this episode. Leave a comment, ask me questions, don't forget to subscribe and share. So today we're talking about working for yourself through discipline, consistency, and the ability to pivot. Let's start with discipline. What is discipline? Discipline is doing things even when we don't feel like doing them. So I understand that sounds like an easy concept, and I'm preaching to a group of adults here, but the importance of doing things when we don't feel like doing them every single time consistently is critical to success. So when you wake up in the morning and you want that extra 30 minutes, you can't do it. There's 7 billion people in the world. 7 billion people. And I guarantee you, half of those people, they're getting up and they're doing what they need to do. So those 30 minutes day in and day out, they matter. They count for something. Organization is critical. It really does go hand in hand with discipline. I hear all too many times friends of mine say, "Oh man, I'm so unorganized. It's crazy, but I like it that way. That's how I perform the best." I find that really hard to believe. It's very, very tough. You have to stay organized, whether you're using a project management tool, some sort of composition book where you're taking notes day in and day out. Organization is key. You have to be able to address thoughts, previous thoughts on a whim. You have to be able to index your thoughts in some way, some shape, some form. So for me, I use a project management tool. It's called Trello. Go ahead, try it out. It's free. It's great. You have cards. You put ideas into cards. You can create columns and move the idea into a column that says started. You can move that into completed once you're finished with whatever the idea was and you don't want to see it anymore. There's so many tools out there though. Go get one. Stay organized. Keep your thoughts organized. The discipline of staying organized is a critical component when working for yourself. So without that organization, it's going to be very tough to be successful. Another point that I want to make, and it's such an easy concept, but taking notes, whether you're listening to a podcast, an awesome YouTube channel like this one, your mentor, if your mentor's speaking with you, take notes because you're gonna need to be able to reference those notes down the road. And you're not gonna have a clear idea of the topics being discussed unless you have something indexed that you can reference. I truly love when people say, I'm gonna stay organized in my head. Like I have it all up here. Well, you know what? You're easy to beat. We're gonna beat you. Easy to beat. Stay organized. Get yourself a step ahead. One other component to discipline. It's applying an idea or a thought or a concept that you had immediately. It doesn't have to be right then and there, but within the next day or two. Don't let it sit. Anything that's tabled will not be addressed. When you table an idea, you will forget it. Unless you're taking notes, of course, unless you're staying organized. So when you table an idea, you're gonna forget it and it won't be addressed. So go ahead, when you have an idea, execute that idea ASAP, because there's only one way to do this. There's only one way to work for yourself, and there's only one way to be successful, and it's to kill it every day in and day out. So execute your thoughts. Don't hold back on them. So let's go into consistency. Consistency plays such a big role in your ability to work for yourself, in your ability to generate income for yourself. You have to have a daily regimen. I strongly recommend having a daily regimen, whether that's just waking up at 6:30 a.m., hitting the gym, drinking some coffee, and then diving in. That's okay. It has to be some sort of consistent regimen that helps you kickstart your day. I had a client one time that told me he passed the bar by running. I had no idea what he was talking about. But then I started extrapolating his idea, and he began to tell me that in the morning when he would wake up, he would go for a jog, and immediately following that jog, he would dive into the books and study. That jog kick-started his day. It kick-started his day, and it gave him the momentum to jump into studying. Without that, he wouldn't have been able to. He would have pushed off studying until the afternoon. You need some sort of daily, consistent regimen to get your day started. After, go ahead, write down 3 action items that's gonna get you where you need to be and execute them every day. So go ahead and do that. While you're listening, I hope you're taking notes. Go ahead and write down 3 action items. Those action items can be anything, whether you're building a business on Instagram, your website, face-to-face interactions. The 3 action items need to be written down and executed every day. Let's say 10 likes, comments, and follows on Instagram to build up your following can be one action item. If you're a face-to-face interaction, let's visit 10 local businesses and drop off a flyer. That's an action item. Let's go ahead and monitor our pay-per-click ads daily and add negative keywords to our search term list. You need action items every day on a list that you can check off, that you can physically check off, and you need to complete them consistently every day, day in and day out. That is what it takes to work for yourself. It's being disciplined and it's having the consistency. Then, documenting ideas. Just like I was talking about earlier, taking notes when you have an idea. You need to document your ideas, document your client interactions. You need to update spreadsheets. If you have your daily revenue that is in a spreadsheet and it helps you with forecasting and you don't update that daily revenue the next day, well, guess what? You're gonna have to go into your CRM and go back and see how much you made the day before, and that's taking time out of tomorrow. It's taking time out of your tomorrow, and you're going to be a step behind. Again, 7 billion people in the world, and half of those 7 billion, they are documenting everything as soon as they have a thought. The idea is to stay ahead, stay better than, do what you need to do day in and day out to be successful and to get income. The last thing I want to touch on for consistency, I have so many people around me that don't follow this, but less time off, less vacations, stay on the grind for as long as possible. You gotta grind right now. Less time off because it's breaking your consistency. You're not entitled to anything in life. You're not entitled to anything in life. You're not entitled to time off. You're not entitled to money. You are not entitled to sales. You're not entitled to anything. You, me, the guy next to me, we're all the same people. No entitlement, less time off, work hard. Because again, there's 7 billion people in this world, and half of those people are not taking time off. They're getting ahead. They're getting your sales. Less time off, attack it day in and day out. Once you start this thing, once you go on your own and once you're working for yourself, there's no looking back. It's only full steam ahead, and the only option is success. Lastly, the ability to pivot. The ability to pivot is a critical component when working for yourself. It's the ability to change course. It's swallowing your pride, regardless of what everyone around you thinks. It's isolated thought. The ability to pivot is isolated thought. And what I mean by that is you have a new business idea, you've presented it to everyone around you, your inner circle, your outer circle, it's gone public, and you realize, hey, this isn't gonna be profitable. Well, you need to have the ability to pivot. You need to pivot that idea, whether it's starting a new idea or whether it's changing the approach completely from rebranding to remarketing, whatever it might be. You need to be able to pivot regardless of what your inner circle and outer circle is going to think of you. It's isolated thought. They are not influencing your thought in any way, shape, or form. The ability to pivot is critical. Me, my own story. I now work for myself. I am self-boss. And I pivoted and I took the risk and I started Haystack Marketing. And I went full-time on Better Baby, me and my wife's company. And here we are. Here we are, and I'm able to have a channel and communicate my thoughts to you and communicate my experiences to you because I had the ability to pivot. I isolated my thought. I didn't care what anyone around me was thinking. I isolated myself, my thoughts, my goals, and I executed. So very important to have the ability to pivot in business when working for yourself. Short episode today. It's about discipline, consistency, and the ability to pivot. Please share, subscribe, and comment. Feel free to comment. I'll comment back. I promise you I'll comment back. Share, subscribe, comment. Self-Boss Marketing Tips. I'm Mike Siciliano. Best of luck. Please let me know if you have any questions. Visit haystackmarketing.com if you need help with your marketing. Thanks, guys.